Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, this week, as you can see, I managed to get $1,000 in Federal Reserve strap notes. That's how these come. They'll come 1,000 like this. They'll come in plastic. Mine didn't come in the plastic. They took them out and they put rubber bands on them. But you can see right here, Federal Reserve Bank. And if I look, you can even see the date that they were put out. Here it is. Let's see. January 11th, 2021 at 1:27 and 10 seconds. 100 singles in that particular strap. All right, so what is special about this? Well, first, I don't get these very often. If you order 1,000 singles, you may get these. However, if you order 1,000 singles, you may also get 1,000 brand new singles. And to me, there's nothing worse than getting 1,000 brand new singles because I can look at the top of each strap, and in the time it takes me to read 10 notes, I'm done with the entire 1,000 because you'll know by the number what's in there because they are all consecutive. These are when a bank gets too many singles deposited. And since they can't use all of those singles, what they do is instead of ordering money from the bank, they will deposit money. They will deposit money to the Federal Reserve. Now, when the Federal Reserve gets other banks' excess money, what they do is they will go through all of this money, not by hand, of course, they go through by machine. And what they're doing is they scan the bills for stamps, for writing, for condition, for tape, any bill that they deem no longer worth putting in circulation, they will remove. And basically, for every bill they remove, that's when you get new bills put into circulation. Now, they do put in, I believe, 10% more bills than they actually take out of circulation. So there's always a little more money being put out there, but that's a whole other story for a different time. Anyway, if you get these straps here from your bank to search, you're not going to find Where's George. You're not going to find any neat stamps or anything like that. But you're also not going to find bills with writing. You're not going to find bills that are taped together. Anything that you do find is going to be in decent enough shape to be worth keeping. So from that aspect, I like seeing these straps because I know anything in here is going to be decent. Granted, I may not find as many things because they've been through so many hands. Anyway, that's this week's tip, just talking about those Federal Reserve straps. All right, so move my brick out of the way. What did I find when searching those? Well, first thing I found, this particular note is a trinary, but it's more than a trinary. It's a birthday note, 2000, and then it says 10/21. So you're talking October 21st, 2000. So that's kind of cool. I did find a trinary here, 1s, 3s, and 4s. 0s, 6s, and 7s. I like the B when it has the 2 O's. It's like a Halloween note. It says boo. Yeah, I know, I'm crazy. What can I say? Another trinary, 0s, 1s, and 5s. 2s, 5s, and 8s. 2s, 3s, and 5s. 0s, 2s, and 3s. 1s, 2s, and 9s. 0s, 5s, and 7s. What do we got? 1s, 8s, and 9s. Really nice shape. All of these are in decent shape because, like I said, they came from the Federal Reserve strap like that. This is quad zeros, and it was consecutive because the next one is also quad zeros. So the first one was 02. This one is 03. Quad 2s on this one. Quad 8s. Older note too, 2003A. Then I get to my stars. This one's a 2017. All my stars are in decent shape. This one's really bright, really nice. 2017, of course, so yeah, it should be. 2013s. Another 2013B. Got to check the list with this one. Could be $100,000. 2013 star, another star. This is F, and it starts with a couple zeros. Starting with 2 zeros means that this number is going to be less than 1 million. So right away, you're already thinking that could be a one of 500,000 or one of 600,000 note. It is number 462,000, so it can't be anything less than that. But it could be a 1 in 500,000 or a 1 in 640,000. Whenever I see those first 2 zeros, though, that's why I get excited for those. Another 2013. Now, this one doesn't start with any zeros, but there are higher number stars that are also rare. It just so happens that more of the rare stars start out with a couple zeros. So not all of the ones with a couple zeros are rare, but it doesn't mean that they're not worth checking. All right, let's see, another star. And I'm also checking my stars, both of them. You can see that these are hollow. Okay, they're empty. There is an error out there where you can find these stars where they're actually filled in. So pay attention to that. I haven't come across one, but watching a few videos, I have seen one that way, and the person pointed it out. And I actually, after seeing that video, I went through my whole box of stars just to make sure I didn't have one with a filled-in center, and I do not. So I didn't overlook it. I just never happened to run across one. But be on the lookout for them because they are out there. Another one here. And then we get to the older notes. Now, this one isn't that much older. It's only 2003. Normally, I don't save... Oh, no, never mind. That's 2013 star note. There we go. This is where the older notes start. This one is a 2003. This one is in really decent shape, and it's an H note. That's from St. Louis. I don't get a whole lot of H notes when they're older, so whenever I see one that's in decent shape, I do want to pull it just to see how it compares to the one in my book. And you can see this one is, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So I'm going to see what that one, if that's an upgrade or not. Got some 1999s. Another one really nice. And you can see all of these notes, they aren't torn, they aren't written on. These are very crisp for 1999. Just really nice notes. 1993, just a little bit of a stain there. It shows circulation, but come on, it's from 1993. The thing's almost 30 years old. Another 93. This one is really bright. And then the oldest note I found, 1977. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, knowing that these straps here are from the Federal Reserve, I knew that everything coming out of them was going to be decent. So when I see a 1977, I know it's not perfect, but it's decent. So that's the oldest note I found, and part of the reason why I enjoy those Federal Reserve straps. I don't see them often, but when I do, I get a little excited. All right, so what did I bring out for you this week? Well, this week I have a new addition to my collection, and it is officially the oldest note I have. Let's take a peek. It is graded. This is a Delaware Colonial note, FRDE for Delaware, 68, June 1st, 1759. This is a 20 shillings note. 20 shillings Delaware Colonial note from 1759. That is just insane. When I got this, my dad came by to see what was going on, and I showed him, and he says, "What'd you do, pull that off the bottom of your shoe?" I said, "Well, it is from 1759. It's probably been on the bottom of many shoes, but it's still here. To have a piece of paper that's, 270 years old almost? Wow, that's amazing." Now, this particular note is not in the greatest of shape. In fact, they put on the top here, serial number unknown. Here's where the serial number is that would have been handwritten. And based on my lighting here, that looks like 385, maybe 86. Can't be 100% sure on that one, but that's where the serial number is. You can see how that's pretty well faded. Now, look at the way the corners are. You can see that they are pretty much mutilated. You can see there's chunks missing here. The note itself has been torn in half. You can see that there are sections that are missing like this. You can see these rips in here. This note has seen some action. I mean, you have to assume that the note came at least this far down. So, I mean, look at how much is missing here. When you look at the curve here, how rounded this is. So this note has seen better days. Yet they gave it an 8, very good. They gave it the net, of course. Net is the currency equivalent of details. Now, when I turn this over, you're going to see exactly why. Once again, a lot of the backing has been stripped, and right across the center there, you can see that, well, we're repaired and reattached pieces added is what it says there. So yeah, this center strip is a piece that was added. Now, all that considered, they still gave it an 8, which I am floored. I would have never thought that. I figured this would be a a 6 or a 4, or, you can make it out, so I wouldn't call it a 2. But yeah, they said 8. Now, I don't know if they're just being generous because they're going to put net on there. I don't know exactly how they decide to figure this into that particular grade when it's obvious all the things that are wrong with it. Now, you can see it does say 20 shillings. And I can't even read most of it. Yep, not even going to attempt, because it's also written in Old English. So the F's are S's. Here's assembly, AFFEM. So yeah, it's really interesting. And they do talk about Lord King George, the 32nd year of the reign of our sovereign Lord King George, dated the first day of 1759, and this would be 20 shillings. You can see half the date got obliterated by just wear and tear. Now, that is just cool, okay? I don't have to go any further, and you guys will all agree that is a very cool note. Currency from 1759. That is colonial. That's not continental. Now, I wanted to flip it over and show you some other things. Like, for instance, the portion that you can't really make out right here, this was an anti-counterfeiting measure, okay? And what they did was they basically put ink on some leaves and tried to make them and make the printing here. Now it's starting to focus a little better. They wanted that. I'm trying to avoid the glare, and it's not going to focus there. Anyway, that was an anti-counterfeiting measure, okay? And what that did was that made it impossible for the average person to try to copy this, because people were able to print letters, but they weren't able to print leaves. And you can see some of these leaf patterns here. This whole center section is dirt and not in the greatest of shape. Now, one of the other things that's on here, let me point out right here on the bottom. I don't know how well this is going to focus. There we go. You can see it clearly says TO. That's 2. And then it says COU. It actually said N, which would be 2 counterfeit is, and then it said DEATH. On the bottom of this note, to counterfeit is death, is what was printed on there. So that's kind of, now you have a better vision of these leaves that were on here. But yeah, to counterfeit is death. That was the slogan on there. So if you think some of our laws are strict now, yeah, counterfeiting this is death. But there is one other thing I want to point out on here, and let's see if I can get this. Here it is. That's clearly a PRIN. This is printed, and then as you follow all this other stuff along, here's an A, an N, a K, an L, an I. This note was printed by Benjamin Franklin. Yes, printed by Benjamin Franklin. So in case you were wondering why I have this, what some would say, hideous note, still graded, from 1759, it is one of the few notes that was actually printed by Benjamin Franklin. It says it right on the back. I wanted to make sure that if I was going to buy a note like this, I wanted to make sure that it was graded, because, well, when you're talking a substantial piece of history like that, you want to know that you got the real thing. There's plenty of ungraded notes out there, but if the sole reason for me buying this note was that it was printed by Benjamin Franklin, so I paid a little more for it. I don't know that I could say I paid a little more than I should, because how much should you pay for a note printed by Benjamin Franklin? The cool thing is, on this PMG holder, it does not say printed by Benjamin Franklin. Nowhere on there does it say that. And with it not saying that, I think I was able to get this note much cheaper than what I could have ended up spending on it, because it doesn't say that. If you don't know that the Delaware Colonial note from 1759 was printed by Benjamin Franklin, then you don't know to try to make out that rough little thing on the back where it says printed by Benjamin Franklin. Where is it? Yep, right there. You can see the A and K. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the book, see what the book has to say about this. Now, these notes are also taking off in value, so my book is not anywhere near what it should be on this one. But you can see Colonial currency right here. There's a much better description of the bottom that says to counterfeit is death. This particular one says printed by James Adams, so this is not the exact one. This is 6 shillings. And that's probably the 1777 one that they're showing there anyway, or 1776. Anyway, if I look over here, Delaware, 68, 20 shillings. That's what I've got. And you can see that this one says in very good 10 starts off at $200. At 15, it goes to $750. So from the difference between 10 and 15 is 4 times the difference in value, from 200 to almost 800. And those numbers, well, those numbers are 4 years old. And right now the currency market is just ridiculously hot. So anything that has anything that's got a lot of interest to it, you know, something like this that's extremely rare, and, well, I mean, come on, it was printed by Benjamin Franklin. There is a lot of demand once these notes are exposed for what they are. Like I said, a Delaware Colonial note from 1759, yeah, it's neat. But a Delaware note from 1759 printed by Benjamin Franklin, oh no, that's now extremely desirable. So I wanted to scoop this up. I wanted to be able to do a video before everybody else tried to beat me to it. I've got mine. Quick, get yours before the price skyrockets. That's what I've got for you guys this week. If you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. And I love reading all your guys' comments. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again next week.